I see a lot of people talking online about putting on a paint coating on their car. This certain step is overlooked, and it's the paint correction step. Coatings are really cool. They're awesome because they give the car a ton of gloss. They're gonna make it a little bit more reflective. It is harder than the clear coat a lot of times, and there's a ton of super good products out there. I happen to have my own right here that I use. I like it. It works great. It lasts a couple years. I've used a couple other brands. I'm certified in a few brands to apply them as well. But coatings are really cool and they work. So behind me, if you didn't already notice, I've got a red M Coupe here. Looking at it in the garage, it looks fine. And I bet a lot of people would just wash it, maybe use a clay bar, and then put the coating on. But you don't want to do that because the paint has lots of swirls and scratches. So I'm going to pull it out into the sun and I'll show you what that is. Okay, so this car has been washed and clayed, and if you take a look at the reflection right here, if I move slowly, you can see the swirl marks, especially on the hood. So this is the applicator that I used on another car and put it on, and what you can't probably see well is this stuff's this is really hard. I mean, this is usually microfiber. It's really soft. It has a little bit of give because it's meant to flex a little bit if the body does move on like plastic parts and stuff. What you wouldn't want to do is put this on top of all these swirls because it doesn't fill that in. It'll just make it permanent and you won't be able to get it out. You're gonna have to first compound and in some cases even sand the coating off, then get down to the clear coat, correct the clear coat. It's just not worth it. It's so important that if you are going to put a paint coating on, you do the paint correction first. So when I say paint correction, what I mean is getting rid of those swirls and those scratches in the paint before you put on the paint coating. So you're going to need a compound of some sort and a polish. It's going to depend on your car, what your car needs. I do it by hand for the hard to reach sections. Like my tools aren't going to fit, for example, right here behind the mirror. So I just put a little bit on and then work that in. And what I'm trying to do is grind away that top layer of clear coat and get it flat and even. So I want to keep the pressure even. Now there's special applicators and there's special pads. There's so many different ways to do it. It's all going to depend on your car and what you like. So I'll probably do that 2 or 3 times just in that section to make sure it looks good, and then I'll move on. Then once I've done it by hand with the towel in the hard to reach areas, like right here, the mirror, maybe this section, like the door handles, I can't get a tool in there. I'm gonna pull out a polisher of some sort. Now there's so many good ones out there. I just got this one on Amazon for $100, so I hope it works well. I guess we'll see. And I'm gonna work the large areas. So the hood, I work a 2 foot by 2 foot section at a time. First do the compound, then the polish. Chances are your car is not perfect. Even brand new, the cars will have some marks on it because as it changes hands, maybe the dealer washed it, it's gonna have some swirl marks, and you don't want that. And the reason why paint correction costs so much is it just takes a long time. There's no way around it. Even some of the best people, some of the best detailers in the world spend their time on cars. We're talking 10, 20, 30, up to 100 hours on just a single car to get the paint looking as good as possible. And the reason being is you just can't cut corners. It takes a lot of time. Spend your time, take a full weekend just to do the paint correction and then put the coating on after that. Okay, so I've done half the hood on the car and I'll show you the after, and this is the before. So this is what it looked like before. It seemed like it looked okay in the garage, but then this is what it should be. Now this paint isn't perfect. I don't know if I could get every single mark out of it, but this car is still gonna go on the road, so I'm not gonna go insane and spend a week on it, but just showing you the difference of what it was and what it should be. All right, it's day 2. All the compounding is done. Here it is here. Now I'm on the polishing step, and I kind of ran into some trouble. So first I used one of these 6-inch pads on a dual action polisher here, and I usually like to prime the pad, so I fill the pad up with a bunch of polish. And so I did that, and it was getting little tick marks. So I went to a softer pad. I went to this black finishing pad, and it's a little bit softer foam. Still had the same problem. So I thought, okay, I'm using the softest pad. I'm using a low speed. What should I do next? So I went to this pad and I just put a little bit of polish on there, thinking maybe I was loading up too much. And that worked a little bit better, but it wasn't getting out all of the tick marks that were left behind from my previous compounding step. So on my 4th attempt, I used another one of these yellow pads and just used a little bit of product, and that seemed to do the trick. So sometimes it's not always just cut and paste, do exactly what you did last time. I found that this one took a little bit of work, even though I already did a test spot and it was turning out okay. After I did the compound, something changed. I'm not sure what it was, but this seems to be working. I've probably got about 15 hours in the car so far, and I think I'll probably be done another 5 or 10. The coating should go on easy, so and polishing isn't too bad now that I figured it out. Looking forward to seeing it done. A little trick when you put on the coating is to do it in a dark room and put your light at one end, sit at the opposite end, and look down the car, and that way you can see the high spots where the coating is and get it off. Because especially if you're using the professional types of coatings, this stuff won't come off easy. You're gonna need to compound, repolish, or in some cases even sand the car if you leave a high spot. A high spot will look like a smudge or a smear or something like that, and it just won't come out. It'll be permanent. Okay, here it is, finished. This took about 3 days. It was a lot of work. I really took my time on this one because I wanted it to turn out great. I really like this red color. It looks different. It looks like it's a little bit deeper of a red. I find that on some colors that after you do a paint correction, and especially the coating, the car will look a little bit darker. Now, of course, it's cloudy today, so I can't get an exact reflection of the sun and show how I got rid of the swirl marks. But if I pull out my phone, let's see, try. I got most. I couldn't get everything. I couldn't get this car perfect, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. So in case you forgot what it looked like before, let me show you a couple shots of that. Oh, I forgot to say, if you're local to the LA or Orange County area and you've got a Z3 or you've got an M Coupe or something similar and you want your car taken care of, let me know. I'd be happy to take care of you. You can reach me by email, or I'll leave some contact info in the video description. Thanks for checking it out. Hopefully you learned something.